how to go from here to here. Stick around. One of the most important things that you can do when doing a composite is to make sure all your colors blend and match perfectly. Today we're going to go through some steps on how I go about achieving this and making it the best and most realistic that it can be. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is open 3 images. So we got our images, we got snow, we got more snow, which is the main background, and we got our subject. We're gonna take our subject and place him on our snowy background. But first, we gotta use a quick selection tool to remove him from his original background. Come over here. Hope you can see my mouse. It says quick selection tool. This should work perfectly for this. So click on that. Now with the selection tool, you're gonna go to your image, your subject. Just click in the area that you want to select and drag the mouse. Click and drag, that's all. Click here. Now, after you finish this, one of the things that you need to do, you have to zoom in to get a better look at the edges and make sure everything is as it should be. So we take a look at this. Everything is fine, all of this is good. Edges are perfect. Well, we got some issues here. Make the brush smaller using the left bracket key on the keyboard. And you hold the Option key on a Mac. And you just select to refine the edges. Select, select, make it even smaller, left bracket key, Option, I'm gonna go through and get it the way you need it to be. That's enough. Now go up, check the head. As you can see, this area, same thing, Option key. Make the brush bigger, drag and select. This is good. That's good. That's good. Zoom out. And we need to refine the edges, which is selection tool highlighted, click refine edge. And it will give you a preview of what it'll look like. You zoom in, always zoom in to look at the edges, make sure it's perfect. Now on the smart radius, I like to give it maybe 1, maybe 2 pixels, just to even out the edges a little bit. Makes it look a lot better. Everything else you can leave on 0. And then we click OK. And then we apply a layer mask with black foreground color and a white background. You click the layer mask icon to the bottom here and it crops it, it cuts it out. Check it. looking good. Take off the background, put the white back, don't matter. Then we just drop it into our scene here, over here, position him, zoom out, that's good. So we don't need the man anymore, we could close that, don't need to save. So immediately, this is not too bad, but the colors are totally different from the rest of the scene. Let me do one thing. Since this is Photoshop, this thing, so come over here, select patch tool. You do a selection around the item, and then this is the easiest way to get rid of something like this. You just drag it off onto an area that you want to kind of sample. So you drag it here and you let it go, and that's it, it's gone. So we have the subject and we have the background. The next step, we need to blend him a bit better with the background and make it look like it's one complete composite, not two separate images. And here's how we do that. First, we'll adjust the brightness of the layer. So this is what I do. Go to your adjustment layer icon, solid color, brightness 50%. Change the blend mode from normal to color. You'll get what looks like a black and white image. Create a curves adjustment layer. Make sure it's just above the layer with your subject. And a couple things you can do. As you notice, if you adjust the curves, it affects everything. So we need to clip this curves adjustment layer to the subject, which is this guy, holding the option key and clicking in between the two layers, in between the man and the curves. You'll get this icon, I'm sure you can see that. Hold it down and click. That means everything you do on this will only affect him. It won't affect the background. So let's reset that. Now we're adjusting the highlights of the subject of the man, this guy with his hand in his pocket. First thing I like to do is click. I don't know if you can see right up here. It's almost basically you click on it and you pick an area of the subject that you want to lighten or darken. For example, if you look at the overall look at this image, it's really dark, it's too black. So we'll bring up this area a bit by clicking and dragging to kind of blend him a little better versus something like that. We'll bring it up to make it more even with the entire scene. So that looks a lot better. Now turn off your color fill, click that, and you have a better idea of the before and after. Preview, that's before, after, before, after. That's good. Moving on. Second thing, we need to adjust the color. That's probably one of the more important things that we need to do. We'll do it similar to what we just did. Click the adjustment layer icon, solid color, brightness 50%, from normal. Now we choose luminosity, and you'll get this, and immediately you can see how he stands out from the background in terms of color. So what we'll do, we'll get another curves adjustment layer here, go to curves, and we'll also clip it to the subject, holding the option key, clicking in between so that it only affects him. And then we'll go up here in the curves adjustment plate. Then we'll go through the colors. We'll go to red first. Similar to what we did with the brightness, we click on this tool and we pick, click and drag down or up. And basically what we are doing is trying to match his colors with the color of the scene. A lot of this is basically eyeballing it, just looking and seeing what looks almost similar. Don't have to be exact, but similar to the background. So that's not good. Then we go, let's try the green. Click, drag. Oh, that looks terrible. That's even worse. Now let's try the blue. Click, drag, that's too much, bring it down. Now we're getting somewhere. Bring down that blue. And as you can see, this color is more even blended. One of the ways, well, you can easily test it. Turn off your color fill and do a before and after. Before, after, before, after. See, the pants is different, the hat different. So we're looking better. No, let's continue. Now the next step, what I personally like to do is apply a gradient map. But to make it more effective, you have to select one of the dominant colors of the overall background, which is maybe something in here. Select the background and maybe something like that. And then you go to your adjustment layer panel, gradient map, and you get that. Of course, it's not affecting him because it needs to be above. So drag it over here on top, and you get that. And you get that. Each image is going to be different. The next step is to try different blend modes until you get a nice even colored image. So definitely not dissolve. Try darken. Multiply is always cool. That one works. We'll come back to that if we need to, but let's continue so you can get a better view of how each one looks. Color burn, no. Linear burn, no. Lighten, no. definitely don't need lighten with all that snow. Keep going. Overlay, soft light, okay, but I like multiply. So let's do multiply and drop the opacity down until it's at a comfortable level. Maybe like that. Zoom out. That's really good. Now one of the final steps, well, there's a lot of final steps, but let's add the snow. Just to put him in with the scene a bit better, add some snow. Let's drag and drop it. Size is perfect. Get rid of all the black. We change the blend mode from normal to screen, and we get that. And we could maybe drop the opacity a little bit, maybe 82. That's good. And then we get this, which is in itself pretty good, but there's many different steps. You could just keep going on and on. It's just unlimited amount of steps you can do to blend it. But another maybe a quick step that we need to do is add a color lookup, which is an adjustment layer also. Click the adjustment layer panel, select color lookup, and try different scenes. Let's begin with this, maybe candlelight. No. A lot of it is personal preference. Each image is going to be different. But this is just some ideas that you can probably use to help blend your images better. Let's try that. Not bad. That one is okay. Let's try drop the opacity and see what we get. That's not too bad. Let's look at the full screen maybe and see how this is looking. It's looking a lot better. Luckily with this image, we're good with the shadows. Normally you look at his feet where it hits the scene, and you might want to add some shadows. Luckily with this one, it's quite alright. There's not any harsh shadows in this image, so that'll be good. That's fine. We don't need to worry about that. So let's zoom back out, and maybe we could do one more thing. The background, we could add some more depth by just making a duplicate of the background. Go to filter, blur, blur gallery, field blur. And we want to give it a realistic looking amount. You can place this where you want it to be. You could add multiple, and you could add multiple pins. Just clicking, increasing or decreasing. Remember, everything at the foreground is gonna be more in focus than everything at the background. So you want to kind of simulate that. Let's go maybe 5. Let's put one over here. return, apply. And you'll get that. Now, of course, this tree is actually shouldn't be this blurry. Neither this one, and maybe not even this one. So, next step would be to bring back, remember we have two layers. We have the original and we have the blurred layer. So, get your default colors, which is black. Press D to go to your default colors. Create a layer mask. Press B, get your brush. Okay, let's get a default brush, round. Good size brush, soft edges. Flow can be almost 100%. Paint with black and bring back the details on that, of course. So you see what's happening here. Let's undo that. Let's decrease the flow, decrease the opacity. Make sure the edges are soft, hardness 0. So, undo that, and again we paint with black. Bring all that detail in the foreground back. And decrease the flow a little bit. All of this. Some of the branches, not all, is some. Let's go back to white and remove some of this. Yeah. Back to black. Now we get this one. Bring back some more detail. And maybe these over here. Put that out the way. Okay, so what we end up with is something that looks like this. A lot better than what we had. So it's just about adding different adjustment layers, personal preference, just thinking about real life, how the scene would look, where the light is coming from. That's another thing we can do. We can add directional light. Not necessary in this image. This image is just flat basically. That's about it. Leave a comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Launch Dsigns, and I'll see you on the next one.